Hello everyone. This week's Parashat Vayetze. In the beginning of Parashat Vayetze, it talks about how Yaakov left the city, and he was on his way to go to his uncle's house. And what happens is he stops by a place called Har Moriah, and he stops. He goes to sleep, and he falls asleep. And in his dream, and he has a dream. In his dream, he sees a letter, and he sees a letter that its top of the letter is reaching the heavens, and the bottom of the letter is underground. And he sees angels going up the ladder and going down the ladder. Now, what was this dream? What's the interpretation of this dream? Of course, there are many interpretations. Midrash gives different interpretations. Rishonim, commentaries, they give different interpretations about this dream. What it represents. But there is an interpretation of Midrash, one Midrash that says going up the ladder and going down the ladder represents that Hashem was showing Yaakov his two descendants. Hashem was showing Yaakov his descendant Moshe, who went up the ladder to the heaven, and his other descendant, the descendant Korach, who went all the way down the ladder. He went all the way to the ground. Now we know Moshe Rabbeinu. He became the father of all the prophets. He is the prophet. He became very high. But Korach, we know, he went down, very down. He went down. He went down. The earth opened up, and he went all the way down. And this what Hashem was showing Yaakov. Now, what's interesting is the question is, what's the lesson? Like, what was, like, what's going on here? Now, Balaturim says like this: the word mammon, the word sulam means a ladder. The word sulam has a gematria 136, and it has the same gematria, Balaturim explains, as mammon, which means money, and also oni, poverty. Both mammon is 136, and oni is also 136, and so sulam represents mammon, money, and also oni, poverty. Now we know that money, money could bring a person all the way up spiritually, but also it could bring a person all the way down. Now let's examine. A person could use the money to give charity. He could support Torah institutions. He could give. He could support Talmidei Chamim. He could support yeshivas. He could do so much with his money, and that money could elevate him into great heights. This money could bring him up, all the way up. But at the same time, the money could bring him all the way down. A person, he can indulge his drives. He can. Let's say if he uses for his ta'avot, for his desires, for all the pleasure, for his pleasure buttons, and he just uses it and uses money just for pleasure. Chas v'shalom, this money can bring him all the way down. So we could use the money to go up, all the way up, to bring us in holiness, but also like a ladder. It could go up, but also the money could bring a person all the way down. Now, so what this has to do with Korach and Moshe? We know Korach was very rich, very, very rich. He had so much money, so much money. And what happened? He felt power. He felt so much power that he had guts, you could say, to argue with Moshe and to say, listen, I'm also, he decided to go against Moshe, and that money and that power and money that he had, it brought him all the way down to underground. It brought him so down that the ground had to open up and he went all the way under the ground. But at the same time, Moshe Rabbeinu, Chazal tell us he was also very rich. Moshe Rabbeinu was very rich. And that money, what made him? It made him a prophet. He became the head of the prophets. He's the father of all the prophets, Moshe Rabbeinu. And he was able to use his money to go elevate himself, to go higher and higher. So so this was what it represented. A ladder represented going up and going down. Now we explained only mammon, money. How about poverty? Poverty also the same thing. A person who became poor, chas v'shalom. What happens is chas v'shalom, it could bring him down. Poverty. He starts stealing. He starts going against the law, and he could do illegal things, just not to get into poverty. He could cheat people, not to get into just to make money. So poverty could bring a person down, but at the same time, a poverty could bring a person up. How? A person who does not who's not dependent. He's not dependent on money. He is not dependent on happiness that comes from money. And so that person has a true happiness. He doesn't have happiness through money. He doesn't, but rather through living a simpler life, he gets that happiness. He is happy. He is happy because he has less, he does not have a lot, and he realizes that he could even use less than what he has. So a person, like we're saying, he could use the poverty either to go up or chas v'shalom to go down. Now there's another explanation about the ladder, which I want to say, which is very, very nice. A ladder represents something that on the ladder, a person doesn't stand on ladder. He either goes up the ladder or he goes down the ladder. So ladder represents a person's movement. It's like a metaphor of for Jewish people. Now Hashem compares Jewish people to the dust of the ground and to the stars of the and to the stars of heaven. Why? Because when Jewish people keep mitzvot, they follow Hashem's ways, they become the stars. They become like stars, and they become like stars of heaven. But if they don't keep mitzvot, then they become like the dust of the ground. So ladder, we see is like so the ladder is a metaphor for Jewish people, that if they, on the ladder, you cannot stand on the ladder. You could either go up the ladder or you could go down the ladder. For example, a chair, a sofa represents something that's steady. You don't go up this chair, you don't go down the chair, you just sit on the chair. It doesn't move, But the ladder represents going up and going down. A Jew has to know, you could either go up higher and higher and higher and higher, or if you do not progress, then you should know that you are going down and down and down. Because our life is like a ladder. We could either go up the ladder or we could go down the ladder. We could descend the ladder. A person cannot say, I'm good the way I am. The way I am, I'm fine, I'm good. Which means you want to stand on one place. But like we explained, Jewish life is you cannot stand on one place. You could either go up or you could either go down. So if a person feels like that he's not going up, he should know then he's probably going down. Have a great Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.